You guys are about to watch my 2020 whitetail hunt. But before we get into the actual footage, I just want to take a minute or two here and give you guys a little bit of brief history, because this story is it's a little bit of time in the making. So going back to 2018, December of 2018, I was out checking trail cameras. I leave them up usually right till February, March. Just to try and track the deer herd. We like to keep an inventory of all the bucks that are around on the farms that we hunt. So anyways, December 2018, I get a picture of this big 4x4 buck with a small drop tine on his left side. Not a real impressive buck, but a nice buck. I figured he was about 4 or 5 years old. I did know that if he stayed in the area, it was probably a buck that we were going to target just because of his maturity, his age. If he grew bigger the next year, I knew he was going to be a nice buck. So, that was the plan, and we had this buck on the radar. Well, 2019 rolls around, got cameras out all over the place. Don't see any sign of this buck anywhere. Right through the summer. September, October 19th, I get a picture of a buck with one great big 4-point antler on his right side, and the left side is an absolute giant non-typical antler. So it took me a couple minutes to figure out that this was the same buck, but instead of a drop tine on his left side, now he's got this 9-point main beam antler on his left side. So after seeing the picture, I knew that was the only buck that I was going to hunt for the rest of the year. I sit for 23 days straight in November, and I don't see any sign of this deer. He doesn't come up on any of the cameras. I have cameras usually in about a 2 mile by 2 mile square in that area. Nothing, no sign of him whatsoever. December 10th, I get finally another picture of him. And then from December all the way through January, February, he's coming in. I'm getting pictures of him. Actually got quite a few pictures of him. And then in March of 2020, this last spring, Blake, Jordan and I are out hunting, or out shed antler hunting, and Blake finds this massive shed. And this is, of all the sheds that we were looking or hoping to find, this was the one that I really wanted. And you can see why I'd spent 23 days straight trying to look for this deer back in November. But 10 minutes after we found this shed, I found the matching side. It's pretty unbelievable to see that a deer can be just a straight typical on one side and then this big non-typical point on the other. So going into this hunting season, I knew that this was the only buck again that I was going to try and go for. So we'll pick up the hunting footage in July of this last summer and take you guys through the rest of the story. I'm out today putting up cameras. The goal for this year, as the storyline goes, I'm looking for one specific deer. So generally in the area where I think this buck is living, I'll put up 2 or 3 cameras. Today I have 6 cameras with me. I'm going to put them up in places that I haven't normally put them up. I want to get pictures of this buck. I'm trying to figure out where he lives, and got the guy cutting hay here behind me. Anyways, as many cameras as I can. I got to try and figure out before September, October, how this buck is traveling, what his habits are. Hopefully still alive. I mean, I found his sheds. He got through the winter as far as I know, so hopefully he's still here. And yeah, that's the plan for today. I'm sitting in a brand new spot. I've never hunted this spot. I've hunted this area, but I've never hunted this exact spot before. I didn't plan on coming in here today. I was actually in here yesterday, putting up cameras, making mock scrapes. Normally when I do that, I like to give it at least a week before I come back and hunt. But where I wanted to hunt, the wind is not right. It's blowing out of the east this morning. It'll be blowing out of the north later on, so I'm going to move this afternoon into that other spot. But I'm going to give this spot this morning a few hours until the wind changes direction. I was, so coming into this year, I had targeted a specific buck. It's a buck I hunted all last year, sat 23 days straight, didn't see him. Big, non-typical buck I nicknamed the Stud. And I haven't seen anything of him, haven't got pictures of him since last March. Found his sheds in April, and he's just been a ghost all summer until last week. He finally showed up on a trail camera, one of the cameras I checked yesterday, and it's kind of a good news, bad news story. The good news is that he's finally showing up on camera, and I'm excited, just beyond excited about that. He's a big buck. But he didn't grow the non-typical side like he did last year. He's a double drop tine deer this year. He's got drop tines on both sides. But just a big, heavy, old buck. So he's the number one buck on the target list this year. Even though he didn't grow that non-typical side, I was expecting him to be about a 200-inch deer this year. And, he might make 170 the way he is now. Not that there's anything wrong with that. When it comes to bucks like that, the score doesn't matter. He's just a big, mature. He's got to be 6 or 7 years old now. So he's definitely number one on the target list. There's a few other bucks in here that I think about, but he's definitely number one. So I'm gonna sit here this morning, about half a mile away from where I got pictures of him. So again, not anticipating She's just looking hard at me. That's him. I'm sure that's him. Oh, I'm shaking. That happened so fast. I've only been in the blind for half an hour. Oh. I've been waiting for these deer to come in front of me here, and I just happened to look off in the bush, and he was on the far side of the river, right in the spruce trees there. Oh my goodness. I'm shaking. I tell you. The minute I lose this feeling right here is the minute I quit on. I'm sure he went down right there. I didn't see him. I hope the video is good. I probably could have zoomed in a little bit closer, but as soon as I saw that drop tine on the one side, I wasn't taking any chances. I hunted this deer for 23 days last year, and oh my goodness. Alright, we're gonna go take a look. I'm sure he just went straight down. Go have a look here. Here's the spot where they like to cross. They come down this hill. Look, big scrape right there. Scrapes all the way up through here. I bet you any money, if I would have waited, he probably would have came and went across. But I wasn't taking any chances. Let's go look at him. That's him. Unreal. That is awesome. I'll pull him up out of there. Get a better look at it. Look at the mass on this deer. Drop tine there. Little drop tine here. But look at the mass through here. I mean, he is massive. This is a deer that probably won't score much more than maybe 165. I do not care one bit about the score on this deer. What a buck. What a buck. I've been hunting a spot on the other side of the farm, and it's a spot that it's new. I haven't been hunting that spot before. I hunted that general area on that side of the farm. Usually see a lot of deer, but I just felt that this deer was living closer to this side of the farm, especially after I get trail camera pictures of him. October 29th and October 30th, right in the evening, 2 days in a row, he showed up in one of the fields, not a quarter of a kilometer from here, and quarter of a mile, sorry. And after hunting that other spot for quite a few days, I just thought, I gotta give this spot another try. I sat here a couple times, did not see a deer. I just had the feeling that this was going to be the spot. Lo and behold, I did see those 2 does this morning way off in the distance, but really the first deer that I've, within shooting range of this spot is the deer I'm hunting. And I mean, that is a big, heavy, mature Alberta whitetail. I'm sure he's at least 6 years old, maybe 7. I think the first year I found his sheds, he was 3, and then I got pictures of him when he was 4. Last year he would have been 5. Last year this side here was just a big non-typical point, or a big non-typical antler. And man, what a deer! What a deer! I cannot get over the mass on here. Just huge. Awesome. That's it for my 2020. November 14th, the day after Friday the 13th, we get her done. Now I got all month to video Jordan and Crystal and hopefully get Jordan's moose. Oh, I'm pumped.